Hello, welcome. Just give a few minutes for people to join. Zebra Hunterdros, welcome to my scope. This is called the Overflow. It is for, hi, good morning, new entrepreneurs and new investors. My name is Renee Rainey. I'm here to educate, motivate, and inspire you to greatness in your business. And again, thank you for joining. And just give me one moment. Let me go get my glasses. I'll be right back. Okay. Thank you again. And how's your Saturday morning going? I hope it's going well. Well, this is week 2. Great. Good to see you. Glad to hear that your Saturday's going well. Let me get some better lighting here. Now, last week we talked about, we discussed building a business plan. If you're a new entrepreneur, if you haven't already made that step, or if you have made that step, you can use this scope as a tool to make sure you have all your I's dotted and all your T's crossed. Today we're going to talk about putting together the financial piece of the plan. Now, if you plan to go to the bank or seek out investors, you definitely want to have a financial plan written out for them to see. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor. I hold several business degrees, and I'm currently pursuing my MBA as we speak. And I'm also a single mom of a teenage daughter on her way to college. So I'm just an average person that's building a successful business. And so just to show you, I have a book that I've written. It's called How to Live in the Overflow. It's available on Amazon. And I tell my personal story on how I started out in business, how I started out as an investor, how to build a portfolio. My Amazon link for the book is in my bio, and all you have to do is click on it and go to Amazon. It's available in an ebook as well as a book itself. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, the scripture that I wanted to share today was Luke 14. You have coming big money. Okay. And that's the thing that we'll get into. Like, once you do make money and make a profit, what are you doing with your profit? So we'll talk about some investments. I do have, not today, but we're going to talk about the finance piece that as you grow in your business, even if it's an online business, on how to put the financial piece together. I did create a group on Facebook, and this is the name of the group. If you want to snapshot that. And what I've done is I've put the electronic financial piece where you can go in and just fill in your numbers. You want to always know where you stand financially. You want to always, because you never know, you may start a business and someone may come along and want to buy your business. So you want to be able to pull out your financials for them to see. So the scripture I'm using today is Luke 14:28, and it says, "For which of you intending to build a business or make an investment, sitteth down first and count and calculate the cost to see if you have the sufficient means to finish out the project." So you definitely don't want to start a business and not be able to complete the project. You don't want to get in there and then didn't forecast an emergency. So that's one thing, as a business and even a personal level, you want to have an emergency fund. Even though you sit down with the numbers and decide, hey, um, this is how much my business is going to make. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell this product, or I'm going to service this group of people. Um, there's a lot of unforeseens, even though the plan helps you eliminate some of the problems, but you know there's always going to be bumps in the road, and you want to be prepared for those bumps. So you want to always have an emergency fund available for your business. Um, some of the things that are part of a financial plan. Now, I have sat under and been trained and coached by uh, Robert Kiyosaki. I took the real estate course for that. And before I took the course, which was a $4,500 investment, and they guaranteed me that once I took the course, after the course, I would have my first investment property. So before we could even get started, I had to fill out a financial statement on myself. They wanted to know, first of all, if I was a serious investor. Secondly, they wanted to know if I qualified at the bank. So one of the ways of knowing if you qualify at the bank, if you're getting ready to, and I'm using investment properties as an example. Um, so, you know, you can't, there's a certain credit number that they're looking for to even approve you for a loan for a property or a loan for a car. Um, the bank wants to know, can you pay us back? And so when you walk in there, they know that you're a serious business person when you walk in there with your financials, with your balance sheet, because that is a snapshot of how you look financially, how you plan to make money, how you plan to spend the money, um, and your ability to pay them back. And you want to also, if you're not going to use the bank or a credit union, you can also, you know, there are investors out there that are seeking people that are good at their craft in making them a return on their investment, and they want to see your number. So, and again, I'm using real estate as an example because that's one area of my expertise. So when I go out and purchase a property, so if I'm going to go to the bank, I always do the numbers on the property. I make sure that my credit score is at a level to where the bank is willing. And Robert Kiyosaki teaches that when you go in as a business, that they don't look at your credit score. They look at your financial statement. And so on this, I created a group just for business entrepreneurs. I have, you can go on there and get resources. And again, if you want to snapshot that, come on over and join the group, because I've downloaded where you can resources that you'll need, and it's a place where you can collaborate with me and with other business owners, because sometimes it takes a village to be successful. And so I did upload the finance budget on the group, so you can go and download it and plug in your numbers, and if you're ready to put your numbers together. You can also go online to get a free credit report. It doesn't give you your credit score, but it shows you a picture of if there's any bad debt on there, or if there's something on there that shouldn't be on there. You can get that resolved as well. But again, Robert Kiyosaki, before I could take the course, I had to do my finances. They had to make sure that I was in a position to purchase my first property, because that just defeats the whole purpose of me joining a group to gain my first property and not have the credit to do it, or the finances, or and you can buy a property without money as well. But you know what I'm saying. For my first property, I went to the bank, and so I had to put together my finance income statement, balance sheet. But before we even for me to qualify to be in the group, I had to do my numbers. And so that's not my strongest point, but I know it's important, just like the business plan. So I do it. And I do it for each and every project. So even if you have an online business, there's a lot of businesses that are starting out and doing very well. You want to still, if you have an online business, selling t-shirts, selling books, selling whatever, coaching services, you want to make sure that you set it up as a real business. You make sure that you go through the proper steps to be a business. That's one way of standing out from other people, because sometimes people will read a book and then all of a sudden they're offering coaching services. So not only do I come to you with the background of having business degrees, but I also have the experience. I'm not coming from a place. Anything that I talk about or recommend, I've done it myself. So for those that are trying to start out for themselves, I'm here for you. So some of the things that are in the financial piece, there's the budget piece of it, where your assets and financing and expenses are included, your pro forma income statement. It includes your future projected revenues and sales, costs, and operating expenses. And even if you have an online business, there's still some expenses. There's a website expense. If you do, like I took an online marketing course, that was an expense. Sometimes just to use different tools and different websites to get the best out of that program, you have to pay a monthly fee. That's an expense. When I sit down and, like for this year, at the end of December, I sat down and I wrote out my goals on how much money I want to make for 2016. So, you have to come up with a number, a realistic number. So let's say 100,000. This year I want to make 100,000. So then I have to write in my business plan how I plan to, what is my plan of action to make that money. And I had a mentor at one time that was showing me a different aspect to the real estate investment, where you buy a house, fix it up, and then sell it, and finding it houses that are underpriced, not undervalued, but underpriced, in areas where once you went in and did the work, then the comps were like 3 times as much as what you purchased it at. And so, of course, there's a profit. But before I could even have him as a mentor, he asked me, well, how much, I had just quit my job and I was making about maybe $60,000 a year. And so I was out of work. I walked off my job without a plan B. And so here I am trying to now put it together a plan so that, I don't go under being a single parent. And so he was like, well, how much do you want to make? I said, well, I got to make at least as much as what I was making on my job. So he was like, well, in that case, what was the purpose of you coming off your job if you're going to want to make the same amount? And so he definitely talked to me in a way that I had to think outside of the box. And so then I came up with a number. So he says, okay, so how do you plan to get there? So I wrote out a plan. Okay, off the top of my head, okay, well, I'll buy this house and do this and do that. He looked at my plan and he rejected it. And then I went back home. Well, from the first meeting with him, the fact that he said, well, why walk off your job? I, walked away from that meeting saying, okay, forget this guy. But I came home and I did the homework. I went back. He rejected my first plan. I came back home, drying my eyes, and put together another plan. I could have quit again. And so this time I said, well, I'll buy a house for $25,000, fix it up. And at that time, the houses in that area were going for like $150,000. And so then I, had a plan. Okay, then I'll take the proceeds from that house, buy my next house, and do the same, repeat it 4 times to where it equaled to my 100,000 that I would have made for the year. And so he's like, okay, now you have a plan that makes sense. You have a plan that works. And that's the purpose of writing out a business plan, writing out your numbers. So if you want to make 100,000 this year, or whatever your number is, you have to sit down, and with the products and services that you do offer, what will you have to do to achieve that? So just to use another scenario, I wrote this book. I joined the online marketing group. She encouraged us to write a book. Okay, that was out of my comfort zone. So I wrote this book, and I said I was going to make it into an ebook. Well, by the time I released the book, which I released it back in October, I got it done, I got it published, and it's out there. And as far as coming up with the price, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'll sell it for this. But compared to, I didn't do my research ahead of time. I did a lot of researching and getting the book together, but I didn't do the pricing. So I was up against my mentor, Robert Kiyosaki. So he has a book out there. My book was higher than his. He had sold so many copies. So those are the little details that where a coaching group is beneficial to you. A lot of people will, they come overnight success with their books, but they join groups, they create relationships with people. So when their book is launched, they pre-sell it ahead of time. So there's so many little details that I didn't do right away. So now, and then I did it as an ebook. And I'm advertising, good at advertising and marketing. And so people are like, well, does it come in a printed book? So then I had to make it into a printed book. Okay, this year I have a goal of selling 5,000 books. And so, so far, since I made that decision, my books are selling again, and my books did have a good start in sales, but I paid somebody to help me to do that. So that's another thing in business. You have to decide what things you want to outsource and what things you can do on your own. But I don't have anything. Oh, we talked about the budget, the balance sheet, which includes your assets and liabilities. So things that are generating your money, what you own. Do you own the business? Do you own, what do you own? Do you own the patent on your recipe? What do you own? That's part of your assets. Liability is, who do you owe? Who do you owe? And so, that's the purpose also. When you do your finance sheet, you'll have your asset side and your liability side. And so when it comes together, where is your break-even point? So that means things that you have, and then people that you owe. Once that's done, the money left over, that's your profit. And so what do you plan to do with your profit? And so we'll get into investments. And also I've already put a series on investing in stocks on my YouTube channel, so you're welcome to check that out as well. And so do you have any questions for me? And what type of business do you have, or what do you have an investment, or do you have a business? What kind? Tell me about it. Not yet? Okay. But come check out the group. There you can, talk to me. I only do this scope once a week on Saturdays at 10 a.m. I wish you good luck in your business. And just to also let you know, there are some resources out there. There's small business development centers that should be located in your local area. They have a lot of free, Dubai. I haven't been there yet, but it looks beautiful from what I can tell, and that's an up-and-coming place. And also EDCI is another place. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so again, you can go to the group and download the financial piece. Okay. You know what? Wherever you decide, definitely do the research, check out the area, make sure that you can grow and thrive in those areas. Um, and by all means, make your connections and do your thing. Do your thing. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Hopefully, I'll see you next Saturday at 10 a.m. And there's my daughter joining. Hi, Rashana. She comes in on the tail end. But she's a teenager and she's been an entrepreneur. How long have you been, Rashana? Matter of fact, I forgot to tell you, I found your business plan. She wrote a business plan out. She wanted to be a veterinarian, and I told her, I said, well, if you're going to be a veterinarian, you have to own it. And so, whatever you do, you own whatever you decide to do in life. And so she wrote out a business plan, and I have it to this day. She was 10 years old, and I mean, it was very thorough, well put together for someone who's never gone through formal training on putting together a business plan. And so, but Rashana, I'm at the end, and so I'm going to go ahead and end for now and see you next week. Thank you for joining the Overflow.